see any money off any of this ever.
Microphones are already on. I'm sorry, sir. The show started. Thank you.
I did get some money on one of the things.
The show has started. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. This is Three Guys Before the Game, episode number 517. It's our Happy New Year edition of the show. We record on January the 2nd, which oftentimes begs the question, how long do you say Happy New Year to someone?
Today might be it.
Today's it.
Today might be it.
We'll get into it. Some people take that baby all the way to February.
No.
But it feels like February. This has been a long year already. We're a day in.
Here we go. Three Guys brought to us by Comax Business Systems, keeping West Virginia's business data safe, secure, and efficient for 25 years. That's a quarter of a century. Comax Business Systems at comaxwv.com. By GoMart. Go for good times, go for GoMart, and go for your rewards card. To save on fuel and food, visit GoMarts across the state of West Virginia and beyond. On the website, get that rewards card at gomart.com. Three Guys brought to us by Lou Wendell Marine Sales in St. Albans. They sell family fun. And I know it may not be boat weather right now here in West Virginia, but it's never too early to think about the buds coming off of those trees and that sun coming back down. Get it now.
Any day now that happens.
Days are longer now.
Days are longer. Thank you, Hoppy.
Mm-hmm.
More on that coming up in a little bit on the winter solstice. We've got a whole winter solstice thing we're going to get into. And Three Guys also brought to us by the Conley CPA Group. They provide us with our Spreads on Stats segment. Conley CPA Group, providing value beyond the numbers. Good people when it comes to your taxes and operating your business so that you do them at an optimal level. Saw a thing we might have been yesterday or 2 days ago. I was reading something. They said, people spend a ton of time on like, hey, I'm going to save a little money by buying this. I'm going to save a little money not buying this. I'm going to save a little money here, save a little money there. And then what they said? They said the most money you can save is to make an investment and learn about all the tax laws. That's really where you could save significant amounts of money, where people kind of say, well, I saved 92 cents doing this, or I saved 20 cents here or $1 here. They say, get into the tax law, work on that for a while, and you can save lots of money instead of sending it to...
But really, you don't want to get into the tax law. So you're saying just call Conley. Don't worry about clipping coupons. Do you still clip them? You get those digitally now.
Wife does, yeah.
Yeah, what I'm saying is Conley CPA Group, if you're a business, but on an individual level, you could also spend some time digging into that. Thanks for being with us. Here we go. So on this program, we are going to look back at Saturday's game between West Virginia and Ohio State in Cleveland, and we will also focus on the WV women's basketball team. All they do is just win. They've got Cincinnati coming into the Coliseum for their Big 12 home opener tomorrow as we record, which is Wednesday. It'll be Wednesday the 3rd when they play. We're recording January 2. And then the WV women get a tough test against Texas on Saturday here at Le Colisée de Mont Boulevard. And they'll have those two under their belt before they go back out on the road.
Big week. Got to make sure you don't look past Cincinnati on Wednesday, right? Got to keep that everybody focused here. You got to win that one before you get to the big one against Texas.
Were you over there today?
I was.
You over to college?
Spent some time at the practice facility.
Now, what'd they have going?
Talked to Coach Kellogg.
What'd they have going?
Had a little clinic going on.
Did a day clinic.
All the players were out. All the coaches, they do a great job with that.
So the young children in our county are not in school. You don't go back on January 2 then?
No, they're not in today.
When do they go back?
Some back tomorrow. Others are back later in the week.
Got it.
That was a good time to get some work in, get some shots up.
Sure.
Start the new year, Hoppy, get some shots up over at the facility.
Sure.
Saw men's team was in there getting some weights up.
Yeah.
So there's a lot going on, a lot of activity. Jan 2.
Yeah. Good deal. All right. So, Hoppy, everything's good with you?
Yeah.
Up or down at midnight? Were you awake or not awake?
Not awake.
Yeah. Good.
Not awake.
Senator?
Up.
Oh, interesting. I was down. So
You were down too?
I don't care. Three Guys was 2-1, 2-1 sleeping at the stroke of midnight.
All three of us were very busy during the holiday period, not complaining, just making note of it, so that Christmas Eve, New Year's Day, they were just sort of like days. You know, it wasn't like, hey, it just sort of like, what's today?
Yeah.
Oh, it's New Year's. Okay, what are we doing? I mean, honestly, and again, that's part of our job. It's a busy time of year for us. So it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
It just all got away from me.
Goes by quick. So quick.
I try to make a point to stay up. I wasn't doing anything, just me and my oldest daughter in the living room watching, but I always try and make a point to stay up on New Year's.
I mean, that's cool. I mean, that's good.
Yeah, that's fine.
I did take a nap earlier in the day, though, to be able to make it.
I still couldn't stay
Because
up.
I didn't make it. I didn't make it through the end of the last playoff game last night.
Well, who could? That's even.
I mean,
later.
it started like what 11:45 Eastern time. I think
a little earlier than that.
not much.
No. Hey, speaking of time,
Yeah.
we came back from the Ohio State game on Saturday,
Yeah.
and he rode with Hunter, and I was on the team bus.
Uh-oh.
So I texted him when we're almost to the Coliseum, and I said, "You guys home yet?" And he says, "We're an hour out." Okay, because they had their own little thing that they got into, and
What does that mean?
Hunter had to write his story before they could leave.
Oh.
So I said, okay. So then I get to the Coliseum. I take off. I'm driving home. And I called him, knowing that he was still on the road.
Oh.
And I said, "Hey, big boy." I said, "How you like this travel stuff? You remember this? Pretty good, huh? 2:00 in the morning. How we doing?" All right. So I just figured I didn't need to stay up at midnight for New Year's because I'll be up past midnight a good number of times.
Yes. Good point.
Next several weeks. But
I
it's all-
will say this though, I kind of forget how close Cleveland is. It's really not a bad trip at all. Got to get over there for some Cavs games.
Yeah.
Go over and see
We
Gansey.
were going to go.
We talked to Gansey for a little bit, got to catch up with
Yeah.
him. But it's really easy to get to that arena, too. It's right off the interstate.
off the
boom, then you're
interstate.
back
Yeah.
on and gone. And
We
Yeah.
were supposed to go when Beeline was the coach. We never went.
totally screwed that up.
Yeah.
Would have been a good place for a show.
That was a good
Well,
trip.
we know. Well,
That was a good trip. The team practiced in the Cavaliers practice facility Friday, and Gansey was there. I spent like almost the entire time we were there just chatting him up. And
what's he got? What'd you get?
Dude, I mean,
He's got a lot.
he got a lot. He's got 4 kids from 7 until 2. Age 7 to 2. You got one boy, and that young man is 5. And he says he got bit by the basketball bug.
Oh.
And now when they're watching the games, he'll say, "Okay, which one's that one? Who's that one? Who's that one?" So he's got the bug, and but just a fantastic facility that they have there, and they got everything and anything that you would imagine. So it's.
But Mike's been traveling a lot. He said to me that
He
he's
goes to Australia like some people go to Charlotte.
Yeah, he said he's in the top couple of GMs in terms of guys that still get out and do their own live in-person scouting.
Yes.
So he still likes to do that quite a bit.
I asked him, I said, "Okay, dude, you've been all over the place. Best city, like where do you go? Like what's the city?" He said, "Perth, Australia."
Really?
Not even close. Not even close. He says, "But how about this?" So I guess when he's in Melbourne, that's a 5-hour flight to get to Perth. He says,
yeah.
"It is.
It's a big country.
It's a continent.
Continent.
It's a continent
Continent and a country.
and a country." So he said but he said Perth. Not even close. Not even close.
Interesting.
But yeah, so he goes to Australia because he says there will be a lot of guys coming out of Australia in this upcoming draft. And then we went to the Bucks game on Friday night against the Cavs, thanks to him. And that's a whole different kind of show. And that way they play that game is just a different game, and it's just different people.
Yeah. Yes.
It's just different personnel.
Body types.
Body
different,
types
too.
are just
skill, speed.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Watching Giannis warm up and then watching him bring that ball up the floor. People, I don't think people have appreciation think about what he's doing. Just stop and think about how big he is bringing the ball up the floor.
Yes.
That's like what
You know, the perspective on that is go out today and stand at the baseline and dribble and see how long it takes you to get to half court. I mean, they get the ball and it's like 4 strides and they're in
and
the
one
front
dribble.
court. Yeah, when they're in the front
We're in a
court.
hurry. They got 24 seconds to get that thing off.
So, that was a good event. I thought they did a nice job with that. There were 3 games there with really 4 regional teams in the 3 games. It ended up being a pretty good crowd. The West Virginia Ohio State crowd was excellent. Better than just okay. That was really good. That had an NCAA tournament feel to it with a near 50-50 crowd back and forth. But even earlier in the day, you got 2 good games before West Virginia took the floor, and it ended up being just a nice atmosphere, a good day event.
Yeah,
I
it
like
was.
that event.
Yeah, I like that arena too. It's a good arena. All right, let's jump in. on the Mountaineers and Ohio State. Statistically, this isn't spreads on stats here. This is just, well, let me just rephrase because I don't want to jump into spreads on stats so quick. Takeaway on the game.
Takeaway on the game.
You went to the game.
Yes. Takeaway on the game was unfortunate and disappointing, much like we said after the Virginia game, that you were right there with a chance to beat what's a really good team, and I think will continue to be a good team this season in the Big Ten. You're right there and had your opportunities. So it really just came down to a couple lost possessions at the end, a couple of bad no calls, just to be frank. They flat out missed a couple of those. And the margin of error is so thin, you can't afford to have those couple possessions coupled with the missed calls, and you can't walk out of there with a win. Overall, I think that team should be thrilled. Josh Eilert should be thrilled with the effort that they gave, the fact they got down early, battled back in. You saw battle again. We joked about, can you give 29 again? Dude gets 24 in basically at one half of action.
Right.
You got some role player contribution. I thought Pat Sumnick, you could have made the case for player of the game. And I'm being serious on how well he played. Defensively, offensively, finished at the basket. How many finishes did he have? At least 3, right? Where he got an assist and took it up strong to the basket. So you got some efforts from some people that were good. It's just unfortunate for that group to get another little boost of confidence. It would have been nice to walk out of there with the win.
If that had been the first game of the year, and for whatever reason you were playing Ohio State, you come away very enthused. Say, oh, this team's got a chance. This team's got potential. And in a couple weeks, are you going to get Edwards back? Let's say that Edwards' injury happened at the beginning of the season. You say, by the time you get to January in league play, you'll be ready to go. But instead, the season's like starting now with the current lineup, and you don't have Edwards for another several weeks.
That's the hard part, though, because it really was, in essence, you could look at it as game 4. Right, because it becomes, as we keep saying, and it was evident again the other night, with Krisa, Farrakhan, and Battle, it is so guard dominant with those guys without Jesse Edwards. So I say it's game 4 of the season. It's really still exhibition because you don't have Jesse Edwards back yet. Right. So that's part of it too. Guys are still learning how to play together. I thought in the second half, especially, Tony, that looked more cohesive than it had up to that point. I think they're starting to figure out what works, what offense, how to do what sets to come up with. I thought they had some great play calls down the stretch. And then that zone defense. You may have found something there. Now, who knows if that's an individual matchup thing. But that zone, Tony, they went zone for much of that game, and it turned the entire game around the other night.
Yeah, Ohio State struggles for whatever reason. I don't quite know why. They struggle against 2-3 zone. They did against Penn State and on a couple of other occasions this season, and it continues to take them out of what they like to do. So that did work. One of the other observations is, for one of the rare times, a player's hype leading into a season is actually a reality, and that's Raekwon Battle. He's just a dude. He is a basketball player. He is a scorer. He's explosive. He's athletic. He can hit you. He's just really, really good. But the guy that we didn't talk about because he didn't think he was going to play this year was Noah Farrakhan. How about this cat? Huh? How about this cat?
He's got a lot of skills there.
He just basketballs. He just goes out there and basketballs. I mean, you talk about the addition of that tandem. If you didn't have those guys, if that court case didn't go in the favor of West Virginia, you wouldn't be sitting here talking about one that got away. You'd be sitting here talking about one you just got beat by 20. So it's going to be fun to watch these guys continue to go. And then with the addition of Edwards, third week probably of this month, he comes back, then you see what you got.
If that's on track with Jesse Edwards, that's obviously going to help a ton. Hoppy, one of the questions we've had with this team in the last couple of games since Jesse Edwards went out was, okay, who's going to get on the glass? How do you rebound? Couple things came out of that Ohio State game if you can pick them up and move them forward, which, I know I always say you can't necessarily assume that, but you found a little bit there, and we said the guards are going to have to get more involved. They're just going to have to drop down and start to help. Raekwon Battle gave you 10 rebounds.
Wow.
Between Farrakhan and Krisa, you had 8 combined. So that's 18 rebounds just from those 3 guys. Josiah Harris stepped up, had 6 rebounds himself. So I thought really in that second half, after getting smashed on the glass in the first half, the second half they did a great job of multiple guys getting back in there and helping out. But the Battle one is one to keep an eye on. He did a great job on the glass.
Huge point. Don't know if one night makes a difference, or for that matter, one half makes the difference. But could that be the moment that collectively this WVU basketball team learned the importance and the significance of getting rebounds? They out-rebounded Ohio State in the second half. They end up losing the battle of the boards by 1. They were getting crashed and crushed on the glass 2/3 of the way through the first half. Okay,
12-1 offensive rebounds at halftime.
Right.
12-1 in favor of Ohio State.
So can that become a norm where they just absolutely crash the glass and go get it? It has to be. Otherwise, it'll be long nights.
Change the game along with that zone defense. The other part of that zone was it had some unique principles to it. They did some different things out of it, especially up top, which it actually forced Ohio State to have to almost go into a man-to-man offense to beat it. So you wonder if Josh goes to that zone a little more often with those tweaks, if that becomes something you can rely upon a little more defensively.
Yeah. You can do several different things out of that. So that's where it is. Not where you want to be. Not where you want to be, but I commend them based upon the circumstances for the effort. And here comes Houston.
I was going to say, I'm glad you got an easy one coming up. Kind of,
yeah,
get your feet on you.
Yeah, it's Big 12 is what the Big 12 usually is.
A lot of easy ones coming up. So you go Houston, you go K-State, and you go Texas. K-State and Texas will be here a Tuesday, Saturday next week,
with Kansas lurking.
Kansas lurking.
That's coming up just on the horizon.
Then after that, after 2 here, you go on the road midweek game at Oklahoma. It'll be the last time West Virginia plays at Oklahoma, who are a story this season. They went into the year, and Porter Moser's tenure, they were kind of going like, why isn't this the guy that was like Loyola Final Four? And they had the sister sitting on the side. We're waiting for that to happen. Well, it's happened. He's a good coach, right? Good coaches just sometimes takes them a little time. Good coaches find ways to win. So they're going to be a handful. And then you come back and you got the Kansases here. The one and only meeting. West Virginia does not go to Allen Fieldhouse this coming season. So here we go.
The women went to the Allen Fieldhouse.
They did.
Rolled them.
Gave them a slap job. Kansas had played Kansas had played a really good schedule. They had already played Connecticut. They had played Virginia Tech, who was in the Final Four last year. They played Penn State, who West Virginia had played. They played a very quality schedule. If you just looked at the two schedules, you'd say, like, well, that team, Kansas is better tested. And that's not Mark Kellogg's fault, because remember when we had Mark in here, they didn't have a schedule.
Yeah.
Took the job. It was like, no, there were no games. And so they had to find games. So it wasn't the schedule that they'll normally get. So anyway. What do you say we do a little bit of this? Are you ready for spreads on stats?
I am. Might have a little different twist on it today.
Excuse me?
Might have a different twist on it today.
What does that mean?
Going to plow some new ground. New year, new ground.
Wow.
You were just talking about Mark Kellogg and the women's basketball team. With their hot start, we're having a little spreads on stats with the women's basketball.
Is this kind of like a Don Nealon? You either get better or you get worse. You don't stay the same. That's why you're transitioning here in 24?
Just trying to do new stuff.
Appreciate that.
Bring new content to the show, Hoppy.
3 guys before the game.
Forward to that.
Yeah. 3 guys before the game brought to us by Comax Business Systems, the premier office supply and IT provider here in the great state of West Virginia. Whatever you may need when it comes to your business, whether it be equipment from printers to everything else in between, and that remote monitoring. And we'll talk about this a little bit. This remote facet of business has been revolutionary, and we'll tell you about that in a little bit when we do spreads on stats. But the folks at Comax Business Systems can provide your business with remote IT services. They just get on in, fix, and it's all good. So if you're in need of IT support, and if you're in need of knowing if you're protected or not protected from threats and malware attacks and stealing of your data, Comax folks can come in and give you a free price estimate on that. And then when it comes to the equipment, digital phone lines competitively priced from 1 line to 1,000 lines across the state of West Virginia and beyond. Visit ComaxWV.com. That's ComaxWV.com.
So I check the numbers. We'll just go right to the numbers. Here comes a heater.
Let's jump into the analytics portion of the show.
Ready? 5, 4, 3, 2.
Spreads on Stats, the first edition of 2024, brought to us by the Conley CPA Group. Things getting busy in the tax world, you know, Hoppy. I mean,
Yes.
those W-2s,
Start coming.
those 1099ers start coming out. Conley CPA Group, they say they provide value beyond the numbers. And tell me, you know what else they do? Unflusterable.
Is that a word?
Unflusterable. You can't fluster them. They're unflusterable. Complete service public accounting and consulting, serving clients throughout the state of West Virginia since 1985. They pride themselves in being more than just guys that fill out this box and that box. They'll come along. Think of a shepherd leading sheep. Think of a shepherd. They just kind of walk with you and they guide you to where your business will be put in the best optimal position so that you save as much from the tax folks and you make as much as you possibly can. They can provide remote accounting and remote CFO services. It's Conley CPA Group. Go ahead.
That was well done. See, did you do that on purpose?
No, blind squirrel finds a nut. Just go with it.
That was right on. Excuse me here. I got multiple screens and glasses here for the new year.
Wow.
Ooh, he layered up.
We got a lot happening here. All right, let's talk a little women's basketball, Hoppy.
Yes.
Tony just said they're off to a blistering hot start. You know what they're doing well? That was what led me to this. What are they doing well?
Steal the ball.
How about the answer is literally everything?
That helps.
Hoppy, I just want you, I do this occasionally with you.
Yes.
Green is good, red is not so good.
Right.
You can see from over there,
I can.
right? This is West Virginia over here. Is there any green?
It's all green. It's
Literally.
all green. I see one, maybe two that's not. Everything's green.
And that's kind of pink. It's not even red.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable, the season and the start they've had.
So it helps when you're doing everything well.
It does. That's how that leads to wins usually when you
Yes,
do everything
yes.
well. High-level analysis there. Offensive rating would be in the top 8% if that rating holds, which, again, we know the competition is going to get tougher. They're going to enter Big 12 play. That league's very good as well. But top 8% nationally offensively if that rating were to hold. How about the defensive rating? That would be in the top 1% nationally if it holds. So they're guarding and they're scoring on the other end. Points off turnovers per game, they are in the 100th percentile.
That's what they do.
Is that good?
Yeah.
That's pretty
what we
good,
do.
right?
Yeah.
Fast break points, 97th percentile. Assists per game, 93rd percentile. I mean, it's unbelievable when you start to look at these numbers.
They basketball well.
Now get into this a little bit. They really play modern day basketball that we talk about a lot. If you look at their shooting heat map, they're very good at the rim and from three. So we talk about that rim and 3-point rate a lot. But how about these shooting numbers? 66% field goal percentage at the rim, which is defined by the database I use as within 4.5 feet of the basket. 66%, okay? Put that in context. The national average in women's basketball is 57%. So they're 9% above shooting percentage close to the rim. They're 40% from three from the top of the key and the wings. So the main area, everything but the corners, West Virginia's 40% from three. National average, 31%. So they're doing a good job of not only getting the rim but finishing and also hitting threes. Defensively, teams are just shooting 27% against West Virginia from that same 3-point area, the wings and the top of the key.
Wow. That's a wow.
All right, now let's talk individually because they've got some players that are performing at a really high level. 3 in double figures, Jordan Harrison, J.J. Quinterly, and Lauren Fields. Harrison and J.J. average a combined 9.5 assists per game. So you got a backcourt that's almost 10 assists per game. How about this? I know you like to refer to assist-to-turnover ratio a lot from point guards.
If 2 to 1,
what's good?
2 to 1 is good.
2 to 1's good? How's 6 to 1?
That would be spectacular.
That's Jordan Harrison. 6 to 1 right now, turnover to assist ratio.
What are her numbers? What is it? What to what? 6 to 1 is what? Like, does she have, how many games have they played? They played 12 games?
Yeah.
So does she have 60 assists yet?
See if I can get a total number. I'm looking at
60 to 10. That cat from Ohio State the other night.
How many games they played?
They played 12, haven't they?
She's averaging 6 assists per game.
Oh, she's 70 some.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry. She's 2 to 1. I did that wrong. 2 to 1. I was all excited about that. 2 to 1.
That's
Looked
still
at the wrong
good.
line. But what jumped to me is 9.5 assists, because Quinterly's one of your main scorers, right? Still averaging 3.5 assists there. So 9.5 assists between those two players. Here's some other wild numbers. Now you want to get really in the weeds?
Oh, yeah, sure.
All right, really down in the weeds.
I got time.
57% of Kaya Watson's field goals have come off an assist from Harrison. 57%. 37% of Lauren Fields' field goals have come off an assist from Harrison. Lauren Fields is really feeling it right now. 34% of JJ's field goals have come off an assist from Harrison. So there's 3 players right there where more than 1/3 of their baskets are coming from the distribution of the point guard, Jordan Harrison. So they got multiple players playing at a really high level. There's the point.
Yeah. Let me say this. Has anyone just stopped and paused? Had Mark Kellogg, when he came in, had 6 players that potentially could have left. Instant eligibility because you had a coaching change. If those 6 players walked, this thing could have been absolutely Exxon Valdez just crushed into the ground, just run into the ground. But instead, they stayed. And I would think he's thrilled, and I would think they're thrilled, right? They got to be thrilled like, gosh, I'm glad we just showed a little patience here and listened to this dude and see what they had for us. We're in the top 25, and here we go.
Couldn't have written a better script for a first-year coach to come in. And it's kind of a two-way street. Not only does he have their attention now, because it's one of those you've started like that. You say, okay, see, our staff knows what we're doing, listen and buy in. But if you ask him, he'd tell you the reverse is also true, and that's why you're to the point you are, because they bought in right away. He really likes his team, thinks they get along great together, they're playing great, they listen well. So it's almost been the reverse. They bought in right from the beginning before they had evidence, and that's part of why they're where they are in this point in the season.
Which leads to a whole nother layer of that. When these transitions happen, they are unbelievably hard. Because what you're asking to do is, so Mark comes in and there's 6 players here. And he's going to bring in some of those that he knows of and that he's going to bring his in. And so you bring in 2 different cultures and mindsets of players. That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to gel like it is. Oftentimes, and we've seen this a lot in football, where, and we might as well say it, like when Dana was here, when Neil inherited it, like you had guys say, well, those are Dana's guys. And then you had Neil's guys. And that when you're doing football and you got 100 plus kids on your team, I mean, there's a lot, and it's hard. It's very, very hard. And my point to all that is your coaching staff and WVU's women's coaching staff has done a fabulous job of coming in and finding a way for everyone to play nice, figuratively and literally. And that's why they're having the success. If you had factions or cliques right now, this thing isn't working. And sometimes it takes a couple of years in order for those to leave. Then you get all of your kids in now, then you can play. Well, he's getting it in year 1. So that is the double booster bonus that you don't normally get.
Yeah, and he's got 10 players that are averaging 9 to 10 minutes or more per game. So that's the other thing this start has done. It's allowed him to play a bunch of people in there and get some experience. So couldn't script it any better for a first year coach.
He would have gotten a pass, right? I mean, if right now they were 500, you go, well, it's first year.
Sure.
I mean, he would have gotten a pass. I mean,
absolutely.
And rightfully so, should.
Of course. And that's why it makes this, Tony, with the numbers you gave. I mean, this is one of the stories of the year in West Virginia sports so far, because it is surprising. Maybe he's not surprised or the players aren't surprised, but I think from outside looking in, you're surprised they are as good as they are because of the situation that he inherited.
Yeah. I'll give you another football analogy. Neil said something interesting after I think it was after the bowl game or leading up to the bowl game. I think it was after the bowl game, about how these receivers, the receiver room, how these kids all get along and everything is good. And it wasn't always like that. The reality of it is they did not have a good room. They did not have a good room his first couple of years. You had some guys that just did not buy in. Whether they're just leave it at that. They just did not buy in. and that led to what you had.
Well, and he's talked candidly about that. He said in his interview, his press interview at the bowl game, about how much better the locker room was than a year ago.
Matter of fact, you know where I heard it?
What?
I heard it driving up the road when you had him on Thursday morning last week.
On my coffee clutch?
Yeah, that's what he said. I mean, he doesn't come out and blatantly say it, but like, it just wasn't good. These guys now, I mean.
Well, you saw it all year.
Yeah.
You saw it. It was evident. And you can't, unless you're just supremely talented, where you can afford to have giant egos and guys all over the place emotionally. You know, Brad, if you're just, you have to have buy-in. You have to have people generally getting along. You have to have that kind of spirit. Otherwise, it doesn't take, but only a couple guys can foul you up, right?
It's
a couple guys.
It's so true, and isn't it wild when you talk about chemistry, because it's really hard to find teams that achieve a high level of success that don't have good chemistry. But just like Mark says right there, which comes first? Does the winning create good chemistry, or do you have to have the good chemistry that most people don't see that turns into wins, and then you hear on the back end after a team's been winning, hey, they have great chemistry, they really like each other. Right, that's a really hard one. Then there's some coaches that recruit and try and match that chemistry up a little bit better. I think that's easier to do in the basketball side of things when there's less numbers. That's harder on the football side, but you just rarely find a team that's successful that you say, you know what, the locker room really sucks. Locker room's just not very good, but you won 10 football games. That just doesn't happen. But it's hard to find.
Yeah, absolutely. You talk about the teams that won this weekend. Michigan, all they're talking about is their chemistry. Washington, all they talk about is their chemistry. I mean, you can sense it. You can get a feel for that. You can sense that. Well, and that's why you have these unbelievable seasons when that happens.
Michigan, one of the top blue blood programs in America, was able to put together this us against the world mentality because of everything that went on, right? Michigan, of all programs, was able to do that.
Yeah. Play the
Nobody
underdog
respects us. Everybody's out to get us, out to get this, that, and the other thing. Come on. And then go out and have lousy special teams and beat Alabama.
Wow.
They did.
Oof. Could you have been worse on special teams?
It would be hard. But they came down and made plays.
We'll get into that. We'll get into that in just a little bit. Spreads on Stats brought to us by the Conley CPA Group. You ready for some healing? You feel the need to heal? Some textual healing?
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry, yes.
You weren't following along there.
No, I'm fine. I was distracted.
You'll be going down legislative session pretty soon?
Next week.
You'll stop there at Go-Mart Flatwoods?
Yeah, always.
Always.
Yeah.
Hoppy has a Go-Mart rewards card. When he fills up, gets his rewards points. Sometimes he'll go in there for snacks. He tries to eat healthy. He'll go in there. He'll get one of them Kind bars and a big bag of marshmallows. And he gets rewards points, whatever he buys. So get your rewards card at the Go-Mart, gomart.com. You might see Hoppy if it's just right at the Flatwoods location when he whips up and down Interstate 79 on his way to the capital city. Heard something yesterday for the first time. Didn't know this.
Excuse me?
Didn't know this. People, this time, it's cold and flu season.
Yes.
People that suffer from like heavy coughs when they have a cold.
Yeah.
Heavy coughs. Go to bed, can't sleep, get up coughing. I just said the word and I started coughing.
Talked yourself right into it.
This is true. Doctor recommends not to cough at night. Not making this up. Eat a big jumbo marshmallow before you go to bed.
What now?
I'm sorry?
If you have coughing spells and you have a cold or cough and you just can't stop coughing, doctor says don't know why it exists, don't know why it happens, old wives' tale thing, you eat a big jumbo marshmallow. It's something straight up, something with the sugar, it coats your throat, and you stop coughing.
Okay, and then you spend all night going. then you have drain, and then you got your
Hoppy,
throat.
I don't know. I mean, maybe you spend all night looking for a campfire. I don't know, but it stops you from coughing.
That view is not officially endorsed by the Three Guys podcast or this company.
Well, maybe two of the three guys aren't, but I'm fully endorsing it. I'm going in for big jumbo marshmallows.
Now you're dispensing medical advice.
Well, I will tell you this.
Yeah.
one of my mother's
Here we go.
remedies for a cough and sore throat.
Now we're going to get 9 million texts on this stuff. Go ahead.
Here comes a new party line.
Yeah, go ahead.
Maybe we could sell this on the 800 website.
Episode
Was
800.
lemon juice and sugar.
Sure. Got an acid in there with sweet. The marshmallows got sweet. Same principle.
Maybe so.
Lord knows how many texts we're going to get. I should not have done that. I should not
Pink
have
eye, you
done
just put these things together.
Shouldn't have said it. Should have left it alone.
Pick out your bingo cards.
Some dirt from the backyard. Some flour.
Big
and
giant
brown
marshmallow.
sugar.
A big giant marshmallow with a 52-pound Reese cup. A guy had to bring it in with a forklift.
By the way, I dug into one of those big giant Reese cups we got from our guy Tommy Boy.
Yeah.
Broke that out.
Oh, boy.
Ooh,
Pretty good.
that was good.
Add a spoonful of liquor.
Yeah. Spoonful of...
Right in your eye. There's it right up.
We get a lawsuit. I put this in my eye.
I heard him say it on Three Guys Before the Game, and Ethel, she ain't been the same since. Got that marshmallow stuck in her throat. Had to call the EMS. Three Guys Before the Game is brought to us by episode800.com. On our last episode, I brought up the possibility of a special Valentine's popcorn after the unbelievable success that Mountaineer Munch, which I created, had, which I created before the Christmas season, sold that out, getting some...
Just makes up stuff.
It does. Just a liar.
Wait a second. Did I not say we should have a popcorn and the people at...
And that was it. That was it. Stopped there. You said we should have a popcorn, and then thank God for the people that actually make popcorn and know what they're doing. That came up with the flavor, the mixture, made the popcorn, packaged the popcorn. They might have had a little to do with it.
The nicest thing about the popcorn made by Mountaineer Popcorn is that the kernels are raised and grown in West Virginia, right in your area.
I do like that, yeah.
I love that fact. Yeah. So it's raised here, it's popped here, it's made here, and here.
Shipped from here.
Formally, I can give you this, ladies and gentlemen. We now have confirmation of a special Valentine's Day flavor. It will be a limited edition. We will share the recipe and the flavors on our next episode, but it is coming, and I am told the master popcorn chefs are perfecting in kitchen this week. There will only be one run of production. We'll give you the ordering details to get it off the website next show. And there will be a very specific window to order so that you have it before Valentine's Day. And we will focus. It'll be our focus for this month. We'll just so it's happening. I might throw something. I asked for red. That's all I said. It's like something red.
So the people that execute are actually executing.
Yeah.
Red velvet.
So that'll
just
be
the
available,
idea guy.
Available where?
Episode 800.
It's so available now?
No, they're making it. We're going to give you the flavor profile on their next episode Thursday.
So you can't order it now.
No.
But there is another run of the
original.
original.
They're making one more run of Mountaineer Munch. I was at Kroger's checking out on Sunday, and a guy over in the other aisle when we were checking out said, "Hey, I had the Mountaineer Munch. It was excellent." I said, "I told you it was good. I'm not BSing."
Hey, real quick, speaking of episode 800, if we had one person shout out in Cleveland, we had 15. There were efforting shirts all over that arena. So thank you to thank you to everybody that said hello, waved to us, showed us their shirt. There were multiple efforting shirts there. There was a thanks for having us too.
Yeah.
So thank you, everybody.
One other thing. Now that we're out of the Christmas season, on episode800.com, coming up January the 8th, Monday, we're going to open up our winter solstice shop.
Is this for, do you know this?
Yeah. There'll be some special items.
This just turned into a segment with a heavy anxiety. I don't know what he's going to do or say that then people
winter
have to go work
solstice.
on.
Part
What?
of the winter solstice era. We'll have some products designated.
Specific gear?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Stuff?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Just watch January 8th. In all seriousness.
Episode800.com.
In all seriousness, you know this, with this all BS aside, we are trying to help West Virginia businesses. We are helping West Virginia businesses. And there's a program called Ignite WV. You familiar with it, Hoppy?
Yes.
I'm sure you've had it in your public affairs show. Ignite WV. They give out $100,000 in awards for West Virginia-based startup incubators. And the due date for participating in this year's contest, if you're in that category, is January the 18th. The details available at ignitewv.com. That's Ignite wv.com. And, hey, Austin, show that picture of those little Sparkies there. Those are some dudes that won a chunk of money from Ignite WV in the past. And here's who we have helped businesses in our state over the last couple of years. Mountain Table, right? Down in the Ronceverte, Greenbrier County. Our boy Rusty at Mountaineer Roasting, Mountaineer Popcorn, Chestnut Brew Works, and other participants at the Three Guys Food Court. So those folks are great, and we're involved with the School of Business and Economics at WVU, and this coming year we're going to get more involved, and their students will help us on our Episode 800 website and social media. So keep this in mind. Small business in West Virginia accounts for 98% of West Virginia's economy and 50% of its employees. Mm-hmm. That's fantastic, and that's where that's what we're doing. All right, you ready for some healing? Man, that's a lot of paper. Texter, hello. After Wednesday night's victory in Charlotte, my mother and I were continuing our holiday baking with a little homemade biscotti. We're trying out a new flavor recipe, and I want to make some notes on the recipe card in pencil. Just in case the recipe doesn't come out, we need to make some changes.
Pencil sharp.
But all we could find in the basement kitchen, Tony, as a fellow Italian-American, please elaborate on the basement kitchen, was pens. Well, my mom disappears in the unfinished storage side of the basement. A few seconds later, I hear a faint grinding noise. Yeah, that's right. I walk over, and there she is, sharpening an old number 2 pencil with a sharpener mounted to a shelf, pristine condition, shavings catcher installed and all. It's a great day to be a Mountaineer wherever you may be. Happy New Year, Three Guys, Brian and Donna O. in Weirton.
Perfect.
So thank you very much.
Sharpener.
So he referenced the Italian-American's basement kitchen. It's a classic. Mm-hmm. Italians have kitchens in their basement.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's when they go down and do big work.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Like, that's when they bring the 20-quart sauce out. That's where they can stuff. That's where they get to work. We had a kitchen downstairs in our basement.
Did you?
Oh, yeah. My mom would go down there. It was time to do the tomatoes, do the red peppers, do everything. It's like everything's in does. Italians. You save your good kitchen for just upstairs, and then you go down for your big work, right?
My mom's or my wife's grandparents.
Oh, really?
Thing. Oh, sure.
Yeah,
sure.
Got the downstairs
He's
kitchen.
Right. Work gets done downstairs.
You go down.
Bring it up.
Yeah, You want to run around the house with the little kids? They can stay upstairs. You go down. You work. Get an apron. Texter, year in review. Best win, worst loss, expectations for next year. JP in Parkersburg. Well, worst loss, I'll take that one.
Well, yeah. That's...
Houston. Okay, there you go. Best win. This could be in any sport from 2023.
I thought he was talking football.
Okay, what do you think? Best win.
Oh. Pitt was really good and important.
Yeah. Set the tone. Yeah.
TCU ended up being, TCU was big.
I'm going to go, this is why it's Pitt. Because Garrett went out after the 6th play.
Yeah, true.
That could have gone sideways.
And I think the whole tenor of that season changes if you've started 1-2 with losses to Penn State and Pitt. So I'd probably put Pitt as that.
Yeah,
game,
I would.
Best win.
I would agree. I really enjoyed that bowl game. I just thought that
was fun.
The way things came together for that, all the things we've talked about many, many times, it's hard to not have Pitt at number 1, but I would put that bowl game pretty close.
Dr. Jeff from Charleston, I submitted the picture of the blue and gold bridges in response to Hoppy's comment that the picture may have been Photoshop. I resemble that remark. The picture was taken in Kanawha City. Remember last episode, Hoppy, those beautiful gold and blue bridges?
Yeah, I just wasn't familiar
Kanawha
with
City.
it.
When you go down there for that legislative session, you might want to drive out there to Kanawha City. There they are.
Okay.
Gold and blue. You think it's the right PMS color, Brad?
Looked pretty close.
It didn't it? What is the PMS of blue?
I forget. It was 280 something.
Oh. Texter, hey guys, listening to the podcast as usual on the way home from Christmas and New Year's celebrations. Went to the bowl game. What a blast. Especially as I enjoyed it with a suite full of Charlotte and Carolina fans. Been thinking about the home game version of thanks for having us. I suggest, thanks for stopping by. Sarcastically, of course. Happy New Year. There's a picture of Judy Eaton, Hoppy. You remember Judy Eaton, the fantastic women's basketball player.
Yes.
She's on the left. Ronnie Music, that's her husband. He's a Morgantown native over to the right. And obviously, I'm assuming daughter.
We had a good chat with them at one of the Three Guys tailgates.
Oh, yeah, they were there.
By.
Yeah, they were there. Absolutely. Texter, West Virginia football now 4-0 with my daughter in attendance. She's asking questions after the bowl game. I'm curious to get your takes on those questions. Rivals. Number 1 is clearly Pitt. I would list Virginia Tech as 2. Then she asked, who's 3? My immediate thoughts went Penn State, Miami, Oklahoma, but those tend to be lopsided. But wins for them aren't really a big deal. I then went to Marshall, but that feels like the same logic can be oppositely applied. The only team I can think of after that would be Syracuse, due to the 92 game, and Syracuse has been Schwartzwalder, but that doesn't really seem to feel right either. Baylor, maybe, if I were stretching it? I'm not sure if I have an answer. Who would your number 3 rival be right now?
Boy, right now, Syracuse, but you don't play them. Maryland, you only play them periodically. I mean, if it just overall, I would go Pitt, Virginia Tech, and Maryland. But you don't see them that often.
Are you surprised that a clear Big 12 rival hasn't emerged yet? You're pretty deep into this Big 12 conference.
12
now.
years in.
It's a decade plus, but I don't feel like there's one definitive team there.
Yeah.
Now maybe Cincinnati starts to move into that territory. We've said though you've got to a couple things. You've got to have some good games, and you've got to have some incidents.
Yes, that's exactly what we're lacking. We don't have.
There's been no incidents.
Haven't had a good fight with a screw job
or a big controversy that you got screwed in.
Or you also don't have another team that wants you to be the rival. Okay, because they already have rivals.
Correct.
Which means that Cincinnati is the most likely rival because they're interested in having you as a rival.
Correct. Texter, now I'm confused. Does Garrett Green look like the Mountaineer statue, or does he look like Kevin Green? I heard there he is. Heard your reference to Wayne County. Reminds me that there are only 2 counties in West Virginia that start with the letter O, Ahia and Out Wayne. I don't know what the hell that means. Neil Brown mentioned how this has been a hard couple of years on his family. Can't be easy when seemingly half the state wants him gone. I just hope we don't Bowden him, yeah. So, yeah, Garrett does have a little resemblance to former NFLer and wrestler Kevin Green.
He did wrestle for a little, but he was a really good NFL player.
Yes, he was. Texter, 3 guys. David from southern West Virginia. Hope you and the family had a good Christmas. I assume the food was top tier. Listening to Neil Brown's press conference, he mentioned the pressure on his family for not winning enough for the Rich Rod and Holgerson crowd. Just be aware, when you call him a clown or worse, it eventually gets to his wife and kids. I like Brown, and he'll be a success if we let him. I own land. My house is on it. However, we see deer very often, and the wife protects them. I may start wanting to pre-read these. I just wanted to show off our fans. I've seen many North Carolina fans saying our fans are insane in a good way. Hell of a trip down to Charlotte. Maybe next year it can be a trip to Dallas for the title game. Let's go Mountaineers. Look at that, Hoppy. Formerly good Joey shot. In Princeton, now Joey in Athens.
Is that Charlotte?
Good shot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was the day of the game.
It's great.
Texter, enjoying the weekend in Mercer County with family to ring in a new year after going to the bowl game. Spotted these Snickers items at a truck stop. Brad, you interested? Those are big bars. Snickers eggs. Eggs.
What are they?
Snickers
eggs.
They are? Yeah. That's what it
says. It
would
be interesting. I love Snickers too.
Snickers or Milky Way? You can one or the other.
Snickers for me. Snickers is way up my list. Reese, number 1. Snickers is way up my list.
The Snickers gives you the peanut, where the Milky Way is just no peanut.
Now, I'll take a Milky Way down around the holiday season when we're getting down with the other stuff.
Okay, but Snickers for if it looks like you want a Snickers or Milky
I wouldn't even debate that. Snickers is way up my list.
Got it.
Never fell in love with Three Musketeers. A little too spongy. Tony wanted to receive.
Interesting description there. That's actually a pretty good description.
It is. Man, if I wanted that, I'd just eat a big marshmallow to stop coughing.
How about Baby Ruth?
Oh, I love Baby Ruth.
Underrated. They still make those?
Mm-hmm. I love Baby Ruth.
Underrated. Very good.
Very good.
Tony wanted to respond to Kathy from Marlington's text about our meeting at the local in Charlotte. She and her friends were kind enough to give us, the three guys, their table in a crowded bar as we were leaving. I commented on her efforting shirt, and she saw my old school's three guys shirt. She said she's been a listener from the very beginning and turned her husband onto the show. Kaiser people gave her the table when she arrived, and she passed it on to the next county over. I'm originally from Hampshire. Ran into 4 different groups of people from the bar that next day at the game. Great trip, great memories of a great Mountaineer season, signed JR from Cumberland.
So it was like a geographic.
Passing it on to the next county over. Very good.
Awesome.
Good job, JR.
Guys,
And Kathy.
not sure you remember, but at the height of Fabio's popularity, he took a bird to the face while riding a roller coaster. I believe it set back his career a bit.
Oh, my.
Never thought I'd be sucked into a Fabio conversation by a podcast about Mountaineer sports, but here we are. Stephen from Eleanor.
Forgot about
Same,
that.
Stephen. We did not think so either.
Forgot about that.
That looks like it might have hurt.
Yeah, it hurt. Bird running your face all bloody?
Not good to see it.
I'll tell you what, though. Fabio, fine-looking man.
Good-looking man.
Jeremy in Cooperstown. So, quick story and full disclosure, I'm a Marshall grad. I grew up in Huntington with one of the guys in this picture, Adam. He went to West Virginia with a few of my close friends from the area, and when they all joined the same frat in Morgantown, I spent most of my fall weekends in college driving to WVU home games, hanging out with Adam, my other friends, and their frat brothers. This picture is of me, Adam, and several of those guys. Crazy thing is I myself had not seen a few of them since the 2002 bowl game played in Charlotte 21 years ago, which amazingly at the age of 42 was half of our lives ago. Gotta love how West Virginia brings people together, and in this case, all got paid off with a great day. Well done, Neil Brown and crew. I always tell people I'm a Marshall grad, but I'm also a West Virginian, and what a great day it was to be a Mountaineer. Thanks, guys.
That's a great picture.
Yeah.
A bunch of guys there. 21 years had passed.
Another reason why a local-ish bowl game was really good.
Absolutely.
Right person, different show. I listen to both. I agree with Brad. Country Roads playing in the background of player interviews is great. I hope to buy you a Kirchhoff at the food court next year, hoping for some basketball magic from Lear South Coal Mine. Cole loves the Mountaineers.
What? We doing the tailgate?
Why would you do that?
Oh, yeah, we're doing
Why'd you do that?
Well,
on the second day of January, you've got to do it, and he's like a squirrel chasing the rabbit. Now he's going to talk about it.
Oh, yeah, it's happening. It's going to happen.
It was a big hit.
It was a big hit.
I didn't have to do anything, of course, but
You were great.
I mean, Dave.
You were great.
Although I will say, not to pull a Tony, but I will. We should probably do the thing for multiple days leading into that Penn State game.
Yeah.
That's going to be a big week.
That is.
Strap it on. That's going to be a big week.
Yeah.
Maybe it should be open every evening.
It is going to be, it's the last week of August, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Texter, this is Mississippi
Poor Dave.
Gary. I just wanted you to know my West Virginia connection. I grew up in New Martinsville until the age of 10 across the street from Billy Stewart. Then I moved to Payton City and graduated with Jeff Castile's older brother, and I knew Jeff well. Tell him Zombie said hi. He can tell you stories, LOL. I love my Mountaineers. You guys give me hours of enjoyment. Thank you, Mississippi Gary.
Don't forget that next time you see Castile.
Hey, Castile.
I was talking to Zombie.
Hey, Zombie said, yo. Greetings from Greenbrier County. As the wife of an avid fan, I myself am efforting to reach P1 status by never missing an episode. After shopping for the fam at episode800.com, I even received my very own efforting t-shirt as a Christmas gift. My husband had the pleasure of meeting you three and Dave at the event in Roncevert. Looking forward to the day when I can do the same. I feel the need, however, to address the obvious elephant in the room. The talk of ending your show with episode 800. My husband assures me this is an arbitrary number, is merely three guys' nonsense. However, it causes me great angst and anxiety. As the most popular sports podcast in the state, please put my fears to rest and say it isn't so. Although, also, I thought I would toss out a possible name for the Valentine popcorn. What do you think of Cupid's Crunch?
That's actually a pretty good name.
Pretty good.
That's well done.
Yeah.
Lastly, Brad, can you talk about the significance of the beaded bracelet that you always wear? It suits you well, but then again, we all know you are definitely the coolest of the three. Thanks for you for providing great entertainment. Looking forward to attending my first Three Guys food court in the fall and watching you well into the 4-digit episodes. Marcia, wife of Real Deal Neil, the fishing guy.
Oh, yeah, I remember Neil. Fishing guy in Roncevert.
Terrific.
Yeah, had a wonderful time. No real story on the bracelet. Just a Christmas gift from my wife and kids. And
how long ago? Not this Christmas, though.
No, last.
So you've been wearing it for a year.
Mm-hmm.
Episode 800. So when we started talking about no episode 800, we said that was at episode 400. And I said, well, I guarantee you one thing, there ain't going to be 800. And that's how that started. And this is 518 today?
Clicks off pretty fast, actually.
Yeah, but I don't see it happening.
Okay.
I don't see it's happening. I mean,
that would be, how long would that take?
Yeah, if you did 100, if you do 100 a year, it'd be 3 more years. Right?
3 more years?
Yeah, if you did 100 a year, if you did 2 a week, 2, 4, 6, 8, you're doing 96 a year.
See how quickly you did that?
Yeah.
I was going to use a calculator.
Well, you see, because there's 2 things here. One, okay. I don't understand why people in elementary schools don't teach multiplication like they used to teach it when I was a kid. Like kids
What's that have to do with episode 800?
Because you said I did that quick. Yeah, I did 12 and 8, 96 real quick. I don't need a calculator. Because you know why? Because I was taught how to do multiplication in my head. They don't teach that anymore.
You don't have to get angry.
I'm just saying. Do you realize that?
The whole education system.
Do you realize that? They don't do that anymore.
I don't know.
Like people can't go 12,
I do know this. I can tell you that the test scores for math and science and English literature are poor. I can tell you that.
Here's what I'm saying. Like I go to kids like, okay, do your 9s. 9, 18, 27, 36, 45, 54, 63. They can't do that. 12, 24, 36, 40. They can't do it anymore. How the hell can you not do that? That's the one thing you learned from school that you still use.
True. I use it all the time.
Well,
right?
Who's not teaching that? We work on that.
Do they?
Yeah.
Your girls can go 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42, 49.
We're not as proficient yet, but we work on it. Yeah. It's in there. We work on it.
But I ask teachers, and they go, no, we don't do that anymore. We do it a different way.
There's only one of the 3 of us that does math homework every night. I can assure you we are working on multiplication tables.
So anyway.
6
may have got
36. 7
may have gotten
a 49.
Do it all the time. Got to print out sheets. Go through.
One naught from naught. So the 800 thing, I mean, I got one of the 3 guys on this set right now is writing about retirement.
Well, I wrote that I didn't retire.
I don't know how you can. I mean, it's on the website today talking about his retirement.
You wrote it again?
Yes.
Well, hell, we might not get to 600. That's like every year now he goes through retirement.
Oh, I know.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm going to be 69 in February. When you are 69, you will be thinking about that.
Well, okay. Before I get to 69. Wait till I get 69.
A lot of people wondering why you're still here. What the hell's he doing here? He's 69. He's still here. Yeah, he's still here.
See y'all well before that.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
I mean, we're glad you haven't, but
what was
that again?
Glad you have not retired yet.
What was the general consensus on your text during your show today? People were saying,
I can't believe you're still here.
No. Let me ask you this. Did the people that retired early say it was a good decision or a bad decision, or did you get more people saying like, dude, don't do that because...
That's a really good question. And I not only did I talk to listeners about that, but I ask people who are about to retire or have retired and see what they say. And it's the bell curve. I mean, some people said, man, it's the best thing I ever did. Right. I'm doing this. Right. Others say, no, I feel I've lost value and meaning and I really miss that and I haven't found my stride yet. And others say, well, it's a mix because now I'm volunteering, so it's all over the place.
Yeah.
It's all over the place. And it just depends. And again, not to go on the big tangent, which I am, but that I find it somewhat terrifying, frankly. I mean, to think that because I have this wonderful job and that I enjoy the vast majority of days and the vast majority of things that I do, that if I didn't do it, that I would feel like I made a terrible mistake by leaving it. And the other thing is that I don't have this big social life, okay? I mean, you guys are my friends. And we hang out, and we don't hang out otherwise, but at work. And what would I do, Brad, if I didn't see you at work? Like I'm retired, I'd call you, hey, Brad, what are you doing? You go, what? Why is Hoppy calling me? I'm busy. I got things going on. So,
Don't worry, I'll take your call.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. But Tony says he might take my.
Hoppy might be getting sorry on another call. I'll call you as soon as I can. Instant.
So that's
that's a quandary.
You think about that too, So I don't want to talk about it.
So there you go. So again, no chance we get to episode 800 is basically what that says. No chance.
I mean,
just live for the moment.
Let's live in the moment. Let's enjoy what we have now.
Live in the moment
and try to keep it going as long as it makes sense.
Thank you. There you go.
Yeah. Rolling Stone's still together.
Yeah, unbelievable.
It is unbelievable.
See how the Cupid Crunch sells. That might help.
See before the members of the band start infighting. That will be.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you very much, Marcia. We do appreciate it. 3 guys, I'm not quite ready to let go of the 23 season. I think you should do a review of Brad's over-under numbers from episode 479, titled Over-Under Part 1, and 480, not titled Over-Under Part 2, given the unorganized randomness of this show. Titled Saturday Night Lights. Tilted.
Didn't they teach reading when you were growing up?
I was in the dumb class. There were 3 groups in first grade. The good readers, the average readers, and the bad readers. I was in bad.
We did one of those at the end of the regular season, if I'm not mistaken. We went through some of those, but that is a good idea. We didn't do the second part of that.
Well, he did it for us.
Oh, wow. Even better.
League standing at 13.5. Tony, Hoppy, and Brad all took better than that. Hit that one. Garrett rushing TDs at 8.5. Everyone took the over. 13 was actually significant given the time he missed. Mm-hmm. But what really stood out was his improvement passing. 200 yards a game wasn't on anyone's radar. No one dreamed 16 touchdowns with 4 picks. So true. Number 3, number of players rushing for a touchdown. Spread's number was 4.5. Tony and Hoppy went over. Tony said 7. Brad said 7 was not happening.
I don't think I said that, did I?
Well, why would you attack the listener?
We got to go listen to the tape there.
Well, how many
if you remember, that was.
I think he listened to the tape.
Okay, whatever. I don't think. Go ahead.
I mean, he went back and listened to him.
Continue on.
Cole Taylor, 31.5 catches. This was a double of tight end catches under Neil Brown. Brad and Tony went under. Hoppy was a no-show for episode 480. Imagine that. And then Brad threw out the number of TDs at 2.5. They both took the over, thinking 3, with actually it turned out to be 4. Mm-hmm. Team leader of interceptions will have 2.5. Brad and Tony went over, believing the number would be 3. Shout out to the consensus All-American Beanie Bishop, who had 4 with an amazing 20 pass breakups. Mm-hmm. The biggest surprises to me were the emergence of the freshmen. Jaheim White, Traylon Ray, Hudson Clement, Preston Fox, and Rodney Gallagher on offense. Ben Cutter, Trey Lathan, Asani Redwood on defense. They weren't just nice, but critical components. Number 2, Garrett's improvement as a passer. Completion percentage still low at 53, but the yards per game and ability to throw it deep is there. What is scary is he's got a ton of room to improve to get to a 60% completion by better accuracy on the short passes. 3, the drastic improvement in season of West Virginia's defense. Shout out to Jordan Leslie, to the work they did in the portal, solid leadership in the back end, Burks, Bishop, Wilson, and the development of the D-line. I know it's long to be read, but I'd like to see an episode where your thoughts on spreads over-under preseason's numbers. Number 4, the leadership of Neil Brown in the face of withering doubt and criticism. For those idiots amongst our fan base that think we've got the wrong guy, go learn something about football and leadership. Thanks for what you do. Signed by P1 Doug Marquette. Texter, hey, 3 guys, another West Virginia connection story. I'm on the big island of Hawaii, walking on a trail to see some falls about 30 miles from Hilo. I turn a corner, and this fellow is coming toward me wearing flying West Virginia shorts and a shirt. Boom, there he is, walking there. There you go.
Hawaii.
Yeah, look, there he is. Pretty amazing.
That's pretty good.
Texter, in-game text at the start of overtime. Tony, how about a 3 guys before the game jigsaw puzzle of the 3 of you on set?
What? Say that again?
Charlie wants a 3 guys jigsaw puzzle of the 3 of us sitting on this set. Charlie, no. No. Thank you.
I don't know. What's wrong with that idea?
Puzzles are so old, people.
I don't know about that.
You put any together lately?
Not lately.
Thank you.
Busy doing math problems.
2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 12. Okay, seems like Josh Eilert feels the need to play zone defense, but how do you prevent wide open threes when the zone collapses in the paint and opponents kick it? Has the box and one become an ineffective alternative when playing D1 caliber? Yeah, normally you can do a box and one like in high school when they've got one dude and you just want to absolutely suffocate them because they don't have anywhere else to go. Like, for example, Ohio State, they got 4 guys averaging double figures. So, yeah, you just can't do it. You don't see it.
What he's referring to there, Ohio State did hit a bunch of open threes in the second half, or a number that changed the game in their favor. I just thought that was credit to Ohio State for moving the ball better and finding the open guy. West Virginia was rotating around, trying to shut those lanes and be aggressive, and Ohio State moved the ball well.
Yeah. A few years ago, Texter says, I'm in the Pittsburgh airport getting into the TSA line. Coach Lou Holtz was heading toward the parking lots. After the TSA, I was in the tram headed to the gates waiting for the doors to close, and here comes Coach Holtz. Made it into the tram just as the doors were closing. I said, hey, Coach, weren't you just going to the parking lot? He said, I'd prefer to have a slow guy going in the right direction than a fast guy going in the wrong direction. Coach Holtz is right. WVU sports teams are going in the right direction, maybe slower than desired. Let's be patient as we go in the right direction with the right group of coaches, signed by Clyde in Fairmont. Texter, did you guys see this? Someone in the ACC has a beef with the University of West Virginia. Shocker. This is worse than everything being in Central Times. They listed that score. UWV 30, UNC. Yeah, those poor buddies, they struggle with that. That's not the first time I've seen that. Texter, Florida State is now officially the 1993 Mountaineers. They left out, but no argument after the bowl blowout. Well, the difference is West Virginia went in the 93 Sugar Bowl with its full roster, and Florida State had a shell of who they were.
Down 29 scholarship players for that game, reportedly.
There you go.
Yeah, that was debacle.
Ben in Wilmington, North Carolina writes, don't sleep on the Butterfinger Cup. Sneaky elite candy. A little hard to find, but I'm sure the fine purveyors at Gomart have them in stock. Butterfinger Cup. That would taste really good. That would be good. By the way, the gentleman that sent us all those great gifts at the start of a recent show, I want to open up that case of root beer.
Yeah, Tommy Boy. Did you pound all that root beer?
That freaking root beer, like some of those, that's like superb root beer.
Really?
It'd be like if you're a wine person, it'd be the Camus of root beers. It's really good. Oh, by the way, Forrest and Heather. Hey, Austin, show me the picture of the eggnog, please. There it is. That's upstairs, Hoppy. We each have a mason jar quart full of eggnog.
Really?
From Forrest and Heather, husband and wife, brought us that gift. There they go. They sent that to us.
Thank you.
I've been on the road. I have not been here a whole lot. I got that email from Carrie upstairs, one of our folks that works here, and she said, Forrest just dropped off 3 quarts of eggnog, and Hoppy, I think that would be great for you.
That would be.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Another reason why.
Who? Forrest and Carrie?
Heather.
Forrest and Heather, yes, thank you.
Another reason why, Hoppy, that you shouldn't retire because people bring us good items.
I bring items home, like once a week I bring something home, and my wife says, where did you get that? I said, it's 3 guys listeners. And she's like, well, how do you know? Do you trust it? How do you know somebody? I said, no, it's 3 guys, people. It's all good. Talk line for 40 years, never got anything.
I think there's a difference. We beg for stuff. You never ask.
Except angry email. Yeah. 3 guys get stuff all the time.
Yeah.
Ask for a pair of pants.
Give me a pair of dungarees. Chester from Chestnut Ridge. Hello, it's tough to watch the basketball team and wonder what could have been. Is it too late for the Mountaineers to make it to the NCAA tournament if we show up and have a stellar conference record, I'm afraid there's already too much damage. Even with a 10-8 conference record, which would get you in the tournament most years, would still yield us a 15-16 overall record. To me, anything better than 10-8 is a pipe dream. Is winning the Big 12 the only way now? Signed by Chester from Chestnut Ridge.
Now let's just see what happens. You're just starting conference play. See what happens.
Yeah, Chester, I mean, I don't mean to be evasive, but to be quite honest with you, this is the most unusual season that I've ever seen at West Virginia. And so I just do like Hoppy. I'm taking this thing day by day, see where it goes. I like the kids. They play hard.
Yeah.
That's all you can ask for. At this point.
You might get, we talk about sometimes, Tony, about whether or not you're happy or unhappy with the season and with the team. Forget that for a second and just go to joy. Can you get some joy out of it, out of individual performances or winning certain games? And then I think though you'll be a lot more content as a fan, Brad, to be open to moments of joy that I think this team's going to provide you.
Yeah, and I thought the Ohio State game, even though it ends in a loss, that was an entertaining, fun game.
Right.
If you watched or listened to that. That's what you do moving forward. And listen, Tony, you're right. These guys play incredibly hard. I give this staff a ton of credit for taking what is a really difficult, nearly impossible situation and doing their very best every day with an unknown future for all those guys, right?
Yeah.
And they're still in there grinding, trying to make this better each day. So I give the whole program a lot of credit. I think that's a good approach. You take this each game and see what moments you can pull out of here that are good ones.
Three Guys is brought to us by Lou Wendell Marine Sales, located in St. Albans. What do, you may ask?
What do they do?
Yeah, they're one of the great jobs of all time. They sell family fun. You can check them out and their great line of Avalon pontoon boats by going to LouWendellMarineSales.com. That's LouWendellMarineSales.com. Currently offering a Three Guys special, the 2023 Avalon Tri-Toon Entertainer model. It is an absolute beauty on the water. Complete Honda 150 motor, comes with a trailer, and just so many different elements. Avalon, one of the premier boats in the pontoon world, and it's available for you at Lou Wendell Marine Sales. Ask for the Three Guys special. Texter wanted to send along a few picks of interest. First, for spreads never seen before, 5-gallon bucket of Reese's.
My gosh.
Second,
I haven't seen that either.
thanks for spending time with Mike B and me at the Texas Tech food court. As we discussed, we were due against them. And a final note, my grandnephew, Drew, was the kid who smoked the Duke's Mayo mascot on the 40-yard dash at the bowl game. Thanks for what you Three Guys do for Mountaineer Nation. Signed by BB and Hurricane, a P1 listener.
You wearing an efforting shirt in that picture? I think you were. You had the long sleeve version.
I had the long sleeve one on there, yeah.
Hey, Tony, you skipped over that one, or chose not to read that one text, and I did a little quick research. Hershey, about the lawsuit?
What did I miss? Did I miss one?
Hershey has been sued.
Yes.
By a Florida woman who said its holiday-themed Reese's peanut butter candies lacked the artistic details shown on the packaging that make them worth buying. In a proposed federal class action filed on Thursday and seeking at least $5 million, Cynthia Kelly accused Hershey of deceiving reasonable consumers by falsely promising that its candies would contain explicit carved-out artistic designs.
I think she's got a winner.
Oh. Unless they've messed with the peanut butter chocolate ratio. Move on.
She said she would not have paid $4.49 for a bag of Reese's peanut butter pumpkins had she known the candies not only lacked the cute-looking carved eyes and mouth shown on the packaging, but any carvings at all.
Good thing she didn't come to my father's grocery store and make that complaint after she bought them. That wouldn't have settled. Wouldn't have settled well.
Plus, you're the one that opened one and said it was, what'd you say? Santa's boot.
Maybe we have a lawsuit.
You should join that lawsuit.
Couldn't tell it was a stocking. We were deceived into thinking it was Santa's boot.
A lot of controversy on Reese's on this show.
I don't care about the markings. That's going straight in my mouth. I'm not looking at the markings.
Reese's did file a response, and they said, quote, "Are you kidding me?"
I was like, get that out of here. Texter, hi, Three Guys. Gail from Martinsburg wishing you a happy new year, offering two random observations. If a Valentine's or Easter event is being considered for episode 800, may I suggest working with DeFleury's Fine Chocolates on Queen Street in downtown Martinsburg. I'll bet their creative team could effort a sweet treat that equal the high caliber of the items already available on the site and in future catalogs for Hoppy. Follow-up information on a candy conversation from a recent episode. A smoothie is the peanut butter kin to a Mallow Cup.
Oh, Mallow Cup reference.
Both are made by Boyer Brothers. A smoothie has a butterscotch shell that covers a peanut butter center.
Oh.
It's a sweet treat indeed. Thoroughly enjoying listening to each episode. You three are hilarious and always make me smile. Thank you, Gail. So now we got... Yeah, I know those guys.
Do you?
I mean, yeah, we sold those. They wouldn't be in all the time. Like, they wouldn't come in all the time, but like every once in a while you get Boyer Brothers smoothies. Huh. They weren't packaged back then. You just buy them like the Reese cup.
A little butterscotch there mixed in?
Mm-hmm.
I'd do that.
Yeah.
Hey, weren't we supposed to get in touch with Halls?
I think you were doing
It was
that.
like 72 hours ago. Can you just... 72 hours ago you said that.
Now what we're going to do is
plus,
this.
And the holidays were factored in there. Can you just
Now what we're going to do is this. We're going to get Halls and say, hey, Halls, you have an opportunity. And so does DeFleury's Fine Chocolates. Who can make the best three guys Valentine or some Easter item maybe? Maybe we'll go Easter. And you guys compete against each other. We'll pick it, then we'll sell it. Want competition, Hoppy. It's the only way our team can get better.
Get better, yeah.
I mean, you just let someone go out there, run around by themselves and think they're the starter
Makes
all the time.
everybody
You can't
better.
win.
Yeah.
You get a little competition. Hey, you might come off the, yeah. What do we want to do?
Who wants to play?
Mm-hmm. Texter, Steve in Tennessee. 2 thoughts on Zack Frazier. Number 1, if he was Alabama's center, they'd be in the championship game.
Yeah, did you see that? Ooh.
Number 2, the player for the University of Washington almost cost his team the game by going down with an injury, thereby stopping the clock and giving Texas the fallback. Frazier would have gotten off the field. Even with all our returning lettermen next year, no way we replace our anchor man and win 10 games. He's that much of a difference maker. Signed by Steve.
See when the that center came off the field and the head ball coach had a discussion with him?
Mm-hmm. It's probably why they were on the phone this summer.
They may have known something before everyone else did. We need a center.
What are you saying?
Oh, I see what I screwed up. Remember back in that Hawaii picture I sent those 2 guys? The copy got all screwed up. Anyway, this is a continuation of the 2 guys
So
standing.
you just went to reading something else?
Yeah. He said that's why it made no sense. He said he grew up in Wheeling. Imagine that on this show. He said he grew up in Wheeling but now lives in Texas. Never did get his name. I told him we split our time between Fairfield Glade, Tennessee and Myrtle Beach. Okay.
There we go. I
had debated that my morning whether to wear my yellow West Virginia hat or my Alpha Phi Delta fraternity hat. APD just reactivated on the WVU campus 2 years ago. Next time I'll wear the other hat. There you go. Glad I got that in. Texter. My brother and I are just curious if anyone knows how many jars of Duke's Mayo you have to sell to be able to sponsor a bowl game. It seems like it would be more than you are able to sell to recoup the cost since it's not a large profit margin item. Condiment Kings? No. Here's the deal, dude. Duke's Mayo is the all-time leader in the clubhouse of sponsorship of a bowl game.
They killed it.
People talk about Duke's Mayo all year long based on their entry into the sports market. Before they got in, was anyone talking about Duke's Mayo other than the small southern region? No.
Not at this level.
Their top-of-mind awareness is astronomical as the result of their sponsorship. So they'll kill it in what it cost them to get into that bowl business. This business is about top-of-mind awareness. They just want you to think Duke's Mayo when you're walking down the aisle. Like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, there's that Duke's Mayo. Hey, West Virginia won the Duke's Mayo. Hey, I'm going to support Duke's Mayo and the Mountaineers. Like, it's not even close. Now, conversely, there are a lot of bad sponsorships in bowl games. People put their names on bowl games and they do not activate properly. And as a result, I do think a lot of them are peeing money down their leg. Duke's Mayo is like on the other side.
As someone that spent many years in the advertising, sales, and activation markets,
yes,
Duke's is also a perfect... Here's another way to look at it. If something is sold in the grocery store, you have a chance to be really dynamic and activate in those settings. The technology and some of those things that you can't touch and feel, they can still get great branding out of that. There's still value in that. but the activation part generally comes from those products that you can touch and feel. That's the difference that sponsors always have to try and fight through when it comes to advertising. Duke's is in a great spot, and then they actually execute it very well.
And how do you, in advertising, how do you cut through the clutter? How many times during the year do you talk about mayonnaise? Okay, but the Duke's mayo dominated during bowl season because of all that they did, and they embrace it, and they embrace the peculiarity of, you're probably not going to take Duke's mayo and put it on all the things they do during the game, but it gets you thinking about it, right? It gets you thinking about it.
But then you need to do it for multiple years, because what's the other part of advertising when it works?
Frequency.
Say it again.
And repetition. So you keep saying it, you keep saying it, you keep saying it, and they've started down that path, done a nice job with it.
And the picture of the mayo dump will forever be in Mountaineer lore and forever other schools. So that stays. Anyway. Yeah, great buy. Randy Hunt writes in, my nephew Jonathan in Denver received his game day grind and says, tell Tony we had the coffee this morning. It tastes like West Virginia. There you go. Jim, the poet laureate, with breaking legal news for Brad. Oh, here's the Hershey story here. So my sheets might have been messed up. Here's another one on the lady suing. I don't know. My stuff got turned around here. Anyway. Dear Brad and Tony, Sandy and I caught up with Mike Gansey at halftime of the Ohio State game. There he is. John S. Marshall to the left.
No, there's John S.
Michael Patrick Gansey in the middle.
Yeah.
And lovely wife Sandy. Now, when she introduces herself, does she use her middle name too?
I don't know that.
But John does.
Yes.
So John Hoppy, insurance salesman up in the Northern Panhandle, unbelievable Mountaineer supporter. They've raised thousands and thousands of dollars for the MAC through the years. But he always introduces himself. Hi, I'm John S. Marshall. Like, there's a ton of John Marshalls out there, right? Hey, John Marshall. You wouldn't remember John Marshall, right? Just, hey, John Marshall. Brad and I know him because he was John S. Marshall.
Ever since I've known him.
Ever since we know him.
It's 30 years.
John S. Hey, John S. Marshall. John S. Marshall. So
good branding. Good personal
great branding.
Yeah.
He's just not a John Marshall. He's John S. Marshall, and when you need an insurance in the Valley, you go to John S. Marshall. It's a great stroke of genius on his part. Right?
I'd be confused with the high school if it didn't say John S. Marshall.
Thank you.
Correct.
Yeah.
Exactly. John S. Marshall.
We saw him too in Cleveland. Got to talk to John
He
S.
stopped
Marshall.
down and
He
said
stopped
hello
down
to
and
us.
said hello.
Great. The best.
Like John Rice Plumley.
Correct. Exactly right.
I don't even know why I remember his name. Like
Thank you.
I would otherwise not remember
That's
his
the best.
name.
That's the best, right?
All due respect. of
All due
course.
respect to the
You know who
quarterback
else
for
stopped?
UCF.
You know who else stopped by to say hello to us at the game on Saturday?
Who?
One of the all-time greats, Jim Hamrick.
Oh, yeah.
No, not that one.
What now?
Jim Hamrick, the former athletics director at Parkersburg, the former head football coach at Spencer High School, won a state championship.
State title there.
Won a
Yes.
state championship there, and an avid sports line and Three Guys listener. He came all the way down, and we were up there. He came all the way down those steps at a pretty good angle just to say hello.
It was a steep angle.
It was high.
I'm not sure it was Maryland upper deck or Virginia Tech upper deck steep, but it was pushing it.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Well, I had to make sure I had that railing. I gotta hold that railing.
That would have been a situation. Texter, John from Oklahoma City, scopes, spreads, and part-timer. Without doing a specific name, are guys who are leaving the football team as starters or projected starters via the portal leaving exclusively for money? Exclusively would mean 100%. I wouldn't say 100%. I'd say 80+% leave because of the money.
Yeah. Some overestimate the market as well.
Oh,
Some make those moves and overestimate what the market is.
There's been a story or two out there, some overestimation of what they think they're worth and then what eventually they get are two extremely different numbers, which I think in the long run, in a years to come, it will shorten some of these leashes for guys that think, oh yeah, I'm going to leave for X. Well, you got
there was an announcement as we record this on Tuesday. Tomowa Durajaye has entered the portal, which that bums me out. I was hoping he would be back. He was a guy I've talked a bunch about him, Hoppy, that didn't play a ton of snaps this year, but in his snaps was very valuable, did a nice job, including in the bowl game. You were hoping to be able to bring him back for another year, but not to be the case.
And that is the result.
Listen to this, Hoppy.
Okay.
So that's the result of the Raekwon Battle situation.
Yes, right.
Because
we were talking about that, yeah.
Because the court ruled that the NCAA came back and said, okay, second-time transfers, you do not have to have a waiver. So that puts everyone who's already transferred once open to the possibility that they could jump and become a transfer without having to file a waiver. So
where before you probably had some hesitation because you saw what was happening to the basketball guys.
Correct.
So that was again, giveth and taketh away. I mean, that's what happens with these rule changes. Certainly benefited you significantly on the basketball side, but that may be one that you would have held on to otherwise.
Now you just got to go get somebody who's
That's
transferring
it.
for the second time.
And they're already on that. It's not like they weren't already backfilling along that defensive line. So they'll have some people that'll come in for that, but I would have liked him to stay.
Yes.
That's one of those, would you rather have him or not? Would have rather had him as part of the roster next year.
Texter, I love the story of James and the bourbon barrel mishap that brought two old friends back together from your last show. Truly warms the heart. Mm-hmm. You gentlemen have a lot on your plate with the podcast, the website, and the beer. Do you have room for television production? I see a Hallmark movie in the works with the story. Question, who would play each of you? I'm thinking Vince Vaughn for Tony. Keep up the good work. I don't know.
Yeah, Vince Vaughn would work for you.
Saget's dead. And people used to compare me to Bob Saget or Jeff Goldblum.
You know, a couple people have told me I look like Jeff Goldblum. I don't get that, but that's
interesting.
That to me.
Yeah.
I'm thinking for me, Harvey Keitel.
Yeah. Or how about Christopher Walken?
That's might be close.
Might be close.
Hey, kids, scooch closer. Yeah.
Texter. Happy 2024, fellas. It's been a while since I checked in. I attended the bowl game, and I had the best time of my life watching the world champion Mountaineers tell the Bank of America Stadium PA, thanks for having us. Sorry I couldn't make it to the radio show get-together. The traffic was horrible getting to Charlotte. One last thing, can we please have more spreads on the radio with Scopes? I enjoyed the basketball broadcast. P1 Jennings and Dunbar.
Thank you, Jennings.
Thank you, Jennings. Something happened in my scripts because there's also, hey, Austin, put that picture up of the first down marker in the chain. Someone said,
I saw this. I was watching when this happened. Look, Hoppy.
What?
The knob.
The plastic knob fell off, so the chain link fence was coming undone. So we had stoppage in play. We couldn't get an exact measurement because the newfangled technology was not working properly. I give credit to the official that got it back on because he did a nice job getting it done quickly.
Wow, look at that.
Look at the technology.
Yeah.
That is
pretty good on the...
There were also some reviews in some games that we were doing. There was no camera down the end line again.
Exactly. Just
pretty good officiating by the Big 12 crew in the Alabama game. No one's talking about it, so it's good.
I think it was pretty good.
You know why? Because they were present, but they did not inject themselves. I mean, I think to a large degree...
Unlike some bowl games.
Oh, my gosh. I think to a large degree, Tony, they let them play.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
In fact, it was one non-call, and probably should have been a call.
Which one?
The one hit somebody out of bounds in the Alabama
game. That should have been a personal foul.
Yeah, probably should have called that.
Yeah, should have been a personal foul. No question about that. All right, well, there you go. We got a quick turnaround. I mean, we just might sleep in the studio because we're back on Thursday. A Houston preview. It's going to come quickly.
Okay, I got to get to work.
Anything else for the good of the order?
I think we covered a lot.
So Thursday, as I said, we're going to have the reveal on the popcorn flavor. Master chefs working as we speak.
They're in the test kitchen?
Mm-hmm.
Folks in Shepherdstown?
If we were closer, like that'd be awesome. We could walk over there and taste.
Oh, that'd be nice.
That's the one. That's the one.
We should go over there. Go down to Mecklenburg. Out of Kirchavale.
Tough to get. Three Guys brought to us by Comax Business Systems, keeping West Virginia's business data safe, secure, and efficient for 25 years. Comax Business Systems. By Gomart, go for good times. Go for Gomart. And with the legislative session getting ready to go, higher probability that you could see Hoppy at a Gomart.
Talked to some folks this morning, Dusty and Landry. Ran into them this morning. They had mentioned they were going to leave and hit the Go-Mart on the way out of town there to get filled up.
But the Landry was at the basketball day camp?
Yeah, she put some good
Dusty
work. Got some shots up today.
So Dusty basically a high-priced Uber driver?
He was. Yeah, Landry got some shots up. She got better today.
Sure. Three Guys also brought to us by Lou Wendell Marine Sales in St. Albans. They sell family fun. Visit LouWendellMarineSales.com. Take advantage of the Three Guys special. Lou Wendell Marine Sales, providers of James Bond pontoon boats. Whenever you see a pontoon in a James Bond flick, that's from Lou Wendell Marine Sales.
Unconfirmed.
Three Guys also brought to us by the Conley CPA Group. They provide spreads on stats, providing value beyond the numbers. That'll do it for us.
That is confirmed.
What's that?
They provide value beyond the numbers. That is confirmed. Conley CPA.
Three Guys before the game. This has been episode number 517. It's our Happy New Year episode. Thanks for being with us. More frivolity, jocularity, and more. So when you go on this legislative session, then you won't be doing shows with us.
Well, I can do Monday, and I can do Tuesday.
Well, we don't
Friday.
We normally don't do 2 days in a row. Monday, Tuesday.
Well, you asked what I could do. I told you I can do Monday, I can do Tuesday, I can do Friday, I can do Saturday. I'm only out 2 days, maybe 3. Saturday, Sunday. When are you available, buddy?
Oh, wise guy, huh? All right, we're done. Thanks to Austin Wright, our producer. Back again sometime. See ya. Three Guys before the game.